Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Aloha.
Hello,
everyone.
CD9 Elite Mastermind KT session. And today we're going to do a quick recap. CD8. CD8 that we did last session was all about feeling good and all the ways you can do that. So we talked and shared about all the different ways of feeling good.
Yeah.
And just a general, summary of how to manifest your desires. Think about what you want with power and intensity, with long duration, and feel good about it. So
Does it feel good or feel bad? I can't remember. Mario smiling. I can't cope with Mario just smiling away. You know, that's the first time I've ever been funny, just to say. I'm gonna milk it as long as I can. Okay?
Oh, Jamie, you're
Caught me off
funny
guard.
all the time. So CD9, today we're going to be talking about a little bit more about feeling good, but mainly what to do if you feel bad, and Katie's given really good examples for this, and why are words so important. So
let's begin, shall we? So when you're doing these techniques and you get what you want, it's no surprise, but because you've seen it in your mind so many times as you're visualizing it, right? So can you remember the Star Wars and the Jedi Knight Master example with Luke Skywalker? Who wants to share that story?
Does anyone remember?
I don't know this CD by heart like all of them, so I might fall behind in this one. I know that story.
You mean the scene with Yoda?
The scene with Yoda, yeah.
Yeah, when he looks down and he's the reason he wouldn't be able to do it is because he can't believe it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe it, and that's the reason why he fails. The person who believe I can't even remember off by heart. I'm not used to this. When he goes out and he believes it, so he walks on water, and the other guy doesn't believe it, so he can't do it because he doesn't believe it first.
Because he doesn't believe it. That's right. That's it.
I watched the scene, and maybe I can picture it. There was the scene where Luke Skywalker had to leave the planet, and he had to take out the spaceship, the shuttle or whatever, out of the of the swamp. And he wasn't able to do it because he thought it was so huge and big. And like Yoda said, try anyway, or do it. And he couldn't do it. So Yoda did it. He did it. And Luke said, wow, I can't believe it. And that is why you fail, he responded. So
Is it worth
he
watching
couldn't do it
those
because
movies?
he wasn't able to believe it.
Is it worth watching those movies? I haven't watched them. Because he says something along the way about the same concepts are in certain scenes. Is that right?
Lots of good scenes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Star Wars,
But
but
we know it's a spiritual, deep movie, and we're meaning to watch it at some point because
You haven't seen Star Wars?
no.
Why? I don't get it. Like,
It's a religious movie.
then you don't understand anything about what Kevin says. No, it's just kidding.
I know, because a lot of people give examples from Star Wars. They quote from Star Wars, so it's got a lot of deep meaning to it. So it's one of those films we'll put it on our list. We have to see it.
I haven't even thought of watching it. I think I might sit down and watch it now. I'm sure my missus will be thrilled. Go on, Star Wars.
Oscar neither. He has not watched Star Wars.
Oscar's
¿No?
not watched
Oscar?
Star Wars.
No has visto Star Wars, ¿no?
Que si no lo he visto,
Sí.
enteras, o sea, todas no, 2 o 3 solo, pero quiero ver todas.
2 or 3, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. We need to buckle up and watch it, I think.
Yes,
We'll have a
definitely.
movie night.
That could be our
Movie
homework
night, yeah.
before the next
Maybe
session.
the last meeting could be a movie of Star Wars.
Yes, that's it. And there's another example I remember very well. Louise Hay, I don't know if you've heard of her. She read a book, You Can Heal Your Life, and she's passed away now, but she talked about healing, how you can heal yourself, and she healed herself from cancer. And she said that one of her clients, through her techniques, and she used affirmations a lot, managed to heal their eyesight. And this lady healed her eyesight, and then she said, I can't believe it. I don't believe it. I can see. And very shortly afterwards, she lost it again.
Really?
Yeah.
The belief.
Yeah.
The belief.
Yeah. She really couldn't believe it. Like she gained her eyesight back. you know. So
Wow.
and there's lots of examples about this. So if you think about what you don't want to happen, if you've got any doubt or fear, you get that too. So you get what you really, really, really want.
You get what you really, really, really don't want. You get that too, like you said.
So this is why sometimes we struggle to get what we want, because the doubt and fear is coming into it. And it can very easily happen. And I'm sure we've all experienced this sometimes in our lives.
That's the skill, isn't it? That's the skill to.
That's the skill. That's the
yeah.
skill. And this is why the seed is really important, because we all experience doubt and fear when we want something.
And lack of belief as well, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when it's something you want really badly. Because if it's something that you're not really bothered about, then it tends
You
to
don't
happen
think about it.
easily. Yeah. Whereas when it's something you really want, doubt and fear can come into it. And so this
programming.
And past programming.
Because you think you never got it before, so how could you transform your life and have something that you've never had? And that's where the lack of belief comes into it as well.
That was my biggest thing. I'll always use my cars like because way on my belief level before, and I literally use the technique on when you doubt and belief is basically believing you don't have it and you don't transmit the frequency. So you've got to find something when he makes the list. You've got to find something you can believe in, and that to me is one of the biggest skills, because when I told my mum I was getting the car, the truth in advance, I was telling the truth in advance to her. I thought I'd try it. She laughed and said, well, let's just hope you win the lottery or something. And I started laughing, going, she has no idea I'm going to get it. I am. And that because I was trying to transmit it, you've got to believe it, and when you don't believe it, you don't transmit, do you?
Yeah.
So you've got to train yourself with a doubt and lack of belief.
That's it. And that's where Kate also talks about how to increase belief levels as well, so that reduces doubt and fear.
Yeah.
So I love it when he says in CD9 that when you do this technique, you don't actually even have to do anything, but you'll automatically want to take inspired action. So just imagine when you feel really good, you don't want to just sit and do nothing. You want to do things. You suddenly feel motivated. You feel a surge of energy to do stuff. So automatically do stuff, you know. But he said actually it could also happen that way where you don't.
You can manifest totally just with your mind itself.
Yeah, and that's what he says. But most cases you always take action because you just take inspired action. And when circumstances, events, and situations present themselves to you, you act on it. You want to take that action.
And that's where all the millionaires, when they look like they're working hard, they're not.
That's it.
Yeah,
they're not. Some of them are, and they don't want to, but they're doing all the stuff, and they get the stuff, but not emotionally happy. But the real millionaires who have succeeded, it looks like they're doing 12 hours a day, but they're in bliss. But it could be our worst nightmare to do.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work for them. They feel so happy. They're enjoying it. So if you're doing when you see yourself doing some actions towards the things that you want, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like it just doesn't feel good,
you feel annoyed,
or you feel bad, or you feel annoyed,
when you're doing the actions, it's fruitless. It's not going to create any results. You're obviously miserable during the journey, and it's fruitless. So the most important thing is to feel good. Now, not feel bad, feel good, Jamie.
All right, I got it wrong. Sorry.
And that's what makes it all work for you.
Exactly. So the doing and the how is not that significant. It's your vibration behind everything that you do, right? So an example is, if you're saying something so profound to an audience, but the energy is not there, you're lacking energy, you're feeling, let's say, really nervous or annoyed or
off it goes.
The audience won't capture, they won't really feel your words, but sometimes you could be saying something really.
Oscar's
got birds chirping in the background.
Tienes pajaritos.
Press mute.
Ay, perdona, que silent, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Bless him. Sorry.
Okay. Oh.
But if your vibration behind it is good, then obviously you're going to be able to capture that audience. It's always to do with the vibration. Universe responds to what you've been vibrating. And you were going to add something about electromagnetic signature that Dr. Joe Dispenza phrases it as.
Yeah, your electromagnetic field, which is the field around you, which is what you're thinking and feeling. So what you're emitting as a vibration, that's what people respond to. That's what draws the circumstances, events, and situations in your life. So it's that electromagnetic field that you're emitting.
Yeah. So question for you guys, when something bad happens, but you're feeling okay, you're feeling pretty good.
Or you're feeling really good.
Or you're feeling really good. Is it really a bad thing?
It shouldn't be, isn't it? It isn't. It isn't
No.
a bad thing if you're
So
feeling
what-
good about it.
Exactly. And what example does he give to demonstrate this?
Can
He
you
gave a
repeat the
story.
question, please?
Yeah, like if you're feeling really, really good, but something bad happens, is it really such a bad thing? And he gave an example of a
story.
A story.
Do you remember what the
It
story
was a
was?
very significant story.
The Chinese man.
Exactly, the man.
I don't know what I got. It's really annoying.
Yeah, the man in China,
China,
and actually a lot of people have said this story, but they've called it the man in another part of the world.
Oh.
You know? So,
I heard the story about 5-10 years ago, and I didn't really
Yeah.
put any significance onto it.
yeah, so
And,
so do you remember the story? Do you want us to recap it, or does everybody kind of remember the man in China story?
the Chinese man had a son, and he didn't want anything bad to happen because there was so much famine and so much bad stuff going on in China. So he didn't want anything bad to happen to his son. And one day he fell off the horse and broke his leg. And everyone said, "Oh, what a terrible thing. Your son has fallen off the horse and broken his leg." And he said, no, I don't think it's a terrible thing. I don't know why, but I feel good. I feel good. Even when I'm saying this now, I'm like, okay, he felt good. He felt good about it. And then the Chinese army came and couldn't take his son because he had a broken leg. And he says the story. I remember reading the story about 5 or 10 years ago, and it went on and on and on and on and on, like Trudeau said, about different situations. It happened to me when I really wanted to improve the snooker, and certain people weren't responding to my text. Professional snooker players, I thought, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And then I had just a light bulb moment of wanting to go to the academy and thinking, well, I can go there and I've got no choice. And the last years, my game changed. So from my own experience, I've seen, we all have all of our experience. That was a big thing for me when I was like, this is really bad, this is really bad, this is really bad. And then at a light bulb moment, brainwave, I went to the academy and my game transformed. So it wasn't a bad thing.
It wasn't a bad thing. Exactly.
It looked bad.
It looked bad, yeah.
It looked bad, yeah.
And the key to this story also is that it's how you think about an event. You know, do you label it bad or good? Because you don't want to then vibrate bad feelings, bad emotions around it. You know, you want to then kind of switch it around and focus on feeling good again as quick as possible. So your refractory period of how you react to a so-called bad event, you want to make it shorter, so you're not, the duration of vibration isn't as long. And so
perception is your reality.
And perception is your reality, so that every event is just an event. It's the meaning you give it.
Judgment we give it.
How you frame things, isn't it?
Yeah, how you frame things. So an event could be just an event, but somebody can see it as a bad thing and somebody else can see it as a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, when
I see it every day. Sorry to interrupt. I see it every day with people.
It's like Viktor Frankl, you know, the concentration camp story.
Classic example. Yeah.
2 men were in the concentration camp and they both went through the same sort of torture. They both lost their family. They're both traumatized just the same. One ended up in a sort of mental asylum, couldn't function. The other one went to become stronger, wrote a book about it, became very well known and became stronger through everything that he experienced. But they both experienced the same type of trauma, but they both responded in different ways. One took it as a way to grow and become stronger, and the other one
back to your attitude's right, isn't it? Facts don't count.
Yeah, that's it. So your feelings are your emotional guidance system. Feeling good, you know that your thought process is in alignment, and feeling bad, you know that it's not in alignment. So
there's something I want to add, Meenal, that Oscar said before about love, because he was saying that when you're feeling love, that's when you can create the most.
Yes,
love
yes.
is the highest vibration.
It's the highest.
Inspiration and well, and
that's so simple.
Eso también, Oscar, I want to ask him something. Hacer el amor también. I'm asking him something because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Oscar uses the third way, just feel appreciative and just feel grateful all the time. Not have a specific thing, isn't it? That's Oscar's way, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I don't know if he was kidding, but maybe something related to make love also, like make love also creates things.
Oh, Oscar.
I didn't expect you to say that.
The love machine. Mr. Lover Lover.
Well, I guess so, no? Because Kevin
Good
also
technique,
said that
good technique.
in the societies they used to
Technique.
He's mentioned this. The level 3 training.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's also the quote by Shakespeare who said that there's nothing good or bad, but our thinking makes it so.
So that's
right.
it.
Also in line with it, and I think where the rubber meets the road is when you see it something maybe in your life where you might think initially that this is bad, is realizing that you're thinking this and being able to detach yourself from feeling this and being like, hey, okay, take a step back and see, okay, maybe I'm being triggered here because I think this is bad, but hey, maybe it's not. Let's see and what happens, because this is good. This might turn out awesome, but I don't know the result yet, and I don't know where this is leading me. So by realizing this, you can take a step back and then see how it unfolds. And this is really an important thing to be aware at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Napoleon Hill say a lot in the whole book.
Yes. Napoleon Hill.
In Thinking.
Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
¿Qué dice? What does he say?
Que habla mucho de ello, Napoleon Hill, en los libros.
¿Qué habla de qué?
Mucho del poder de la energía sexual.
Yeah, no. He's saying that Napoleon Hill is talking a lot about sexual energy in his books.
That's at the top of the...
Oscar, that's your favorite chapter, huh?
Dice que es tu capítulo favorito.
The transmutation stuff.
Yes, it's a whole chapter on that.
That was on level 3 as well. Yeah.
He goes on about the flat tire as well. That's a similar thing, isn't it? I got a flat tire.
Flat tire, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
2 weeks later, I was driving down the road and I had a flat tire. I was like, oh, the battery. I was like, my battery's gone out. I'm full of mum, my dad, my fiance going like, oh my God. They're like, you're nuts. I was like, I know. It's gonna happen. I wanted a new car.
And I don't know if you might have all experienced this, that when something bad or a few bad things happen, it's only afterwards, and it could be even months or a year later, you look back and you think, I'm so glad those things happened to me, because I won't be here right now doing what I'm doing now without those things. So you sometimes in the moment you can't see it as being in the midst of the storm. In the midst of the storm, you can't see where this is going to lead you, but it's only afterwards you realize, I'm so glad that happened to me.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I'm so glad I went through those difficult or challenging experiences, because I'm here now stronger or doing what I'm doing now. And it happens so much to so many people, So it's
I've always thought about this subject, but never actually put that much energy into it. But I am thinking about it a lot more now. I'm thinking, okay, that's really something I need to properly. Because when you wanted something and then something happens, you shouldn't be surprised. Like I wasn't surprised when things happened to me, but also just acknowledge. I've never actually thought how important it is, but it really is important, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you are getting what you're asking for.
Yeah. That's it. So also look at the words that you're saying as well, because that's also another indicator, not just for your feelings, but your words. And are you focusing on what you don't want, or are you focusing on that bad event, or are you looking forward and creating tomorrow with anticipation? So it's like me, I could lose my job in 2 months' time, 2 or 3 months' time. This is actually a real case scenario. So I did feel bad just for a moment. I'll say about an hour if I was to time it. I felt bad.
It does seem bad.
I really did. Yeah, and I really did. Yeah, and I felt a bit tearful, because I thought, gosh, I cannot believe this is happening. I'm going to lose my job, right? But then it was just all of a sudden I thought, right, I just started feeling excited, anticipation of what's to come. Where am I going to go next? What are all the opportunities that could come my way? And it'll be a fresh new start and doing something different. So it was just turning it around quickly and having a shorter refractory period.
But at least you know that what to do. Most people don't, and it's bad, lost my job, and then they go that way.
Yeah, they don't
and
see
forever.
possibilities. Yeah. Whereas I know, even though I haven't looked yet, I know there's a lot out there. You know, I know that something will show up, and I just have that feeling inside.
It will.
Yeah,
It
and
will.
something different, something more exciting, because I didn't want this anyway. I didn't want to be in this job anyway. So
you weren't happy there. So hey, this has to happen.
Yeah, so things have to happen. Something drastic has to happen for me to then look elsewhere. So I'm, you know, that's just an example, but I'm sure we've all got examples when something like that happens. So the words we use, going back to the words that come out of our mouth automatically or in conversations that you have in your mind, is a really strong indicator. You know, what are you saying to yourself? And I don't know if you've read this book. It's called What, oh, you can't probably see it. It's
What to say when you talk to yourself.
What to
That's
say
a
to
really
Yeah,
good
what to
book.
say to your what to say when you talk to yourself.
Does he mention that? Does he mention that book?
He does. It's on his book list. So
Extended
not in
reading
CD9, but he
No,
mentioned it on his extended reading
book
list
reading
by
list.
Shad Helmstetter, and it's powerful techniques to program your potential for success. So that's what the book's for. But it's basically about, what do you say to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? Your own self-talk. You know, not just what you say to others, but what's going on in there. You know, what are the words you're saying in your mind? So it's really powerful to use words wisely and say things that will help you focus your thoughts. This is what words help you do. It can help you to redirect your thoughts. And words show you two things. First of all, what you're thinking, and it helps to create and focus your thoughts. So they're not all over the place. I just wanted to share this slide with you of the way that the words work. Just share screen. Yeah.
God,
Okay.
Can you all see
Can
that?
you all see that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
yes.
it's just a simple diagram, but it's just choose your words wisely. So the words you use form speech patterns. Now the speech patterns, there's many kind of speech patterns that we have.
Yes.
Do you have any examples of the type of speech patterns that we would like to have in order to move closer to what we want? Or in order to feel good and be happier and fulfilled?
Yeah. What sort of things
So
would you
what
say
kind of
to
words
yourself?
would you put together to make you feel good?
What would you say?
I don't have any, but I have a
would be
feeling.
fine.
I have a feeling mechanism in place. When I start feeling bad, I start tapping, and I start thinking how grateful I am to not have ill health or not have, and it goes within 20 seconds, and I just go, oh God, come on. I look at myself. I pretend I look at myself. Come on, will you? That's what I do. I should have more though.
Good, but no, that's fine, because that's gratitude. So your speech pattern.
I put the feeling out there of when I start listening to the neighbour, and then you listen to somebody else, and you go, and then you go. I do that in the car,
Yes.
or in here, or whatever.
Yeah, and the speech patterns, the type of speech patterns could be like, I am blessed, I am so lucky,
But feel
all
it.
is well, things just
Yeah.
work out for me easily, miracles happen to me all the time, you know, just whatever it is, you know, but it's got to be something that makes you feel good, because all is well, for example, that speech pattern doesn't always resonate with everyone else.
It doesn't work with me.
Yeah,
His speech.
One that really works for me, because maybe I kind of believe it because I've seen some examples in my life, is everything always works out for me. Always. So even when it's not, I know everything always works out for me in the end.
It eventually does.
Because it eventually does. That's right. So anything that you use or you can use on a regular basis that will help you to redirect your thoughts. So when something is going on and your thoughts are all over the place, just by saying something, either out loud or in your mind, I'm so blessed, I'm so blessed, I'm so thankful, everything works out for me, all is well, whatever it is, whatever works for you, just helps to redirect your thoughts so that you're no longer thinking those thoughts you were thinking before, but you're now thinking about, I'm blessed, all is well, everything's working out. So those are your speech patterns. Now, the more you do that, that creates neural pathways in the brain. And if that creates neural pathways in the brain, that becomes your predominant thought patterns. And if you're thinking in a certain way, you're feeling a certain way. Your thinking and feeling is linked. So you create more like-minded positive thought vibrations. So the more you do this, the more it will attract more like-minded thoughts. And then as you do that, it makes everything work better and faster, and life just becomes so much more joyful and pleasurable, and it's easier for you to go forward. And so that's how words work. But the main emphasis is that choose your words wisely, in that don't just use any words, use words that work for you and resonate with you, because the actual words itself, you can stop sharing, is irrelevant. That the actual words really isn't important. It's more about the attachment of the vibration to the words that's important. So what does that word make you feel? Like if you use the word terrific, you might think, that doesn't feel, I don't feel anything with that.
So your belief.
Yeah, but it could be something else, or just something that just sounds better to you. Like, I don't know, I'm just giving random examples, but like magnificent. Oh, that sounds so much better for me than terrific, you know? So whatever it is that works for you. And also, you're not, like Jamie, you just said, you know, that it's your belief level as well. So you don't want to kid yourself either.
Lie to yourself.
You don't want to lie to yourself.
You feel worse then, because it's doubt and belief kicks in.
Yeah, that's it. So so we'll go on to that as well. You know, what happened,
words, how to use your words,
how to use your
because
words.
he recaps.
There is a book, I don't know if you guys have read, I think Oscar has read it. It's called the Book of Sarah by Esther Hicks. It's like about the inner conversation you're having, like that creates everything. No, and I haven't read it.
What is it
Oscar,
called again, Aman? What's it called?
The book, I think the book is called The Book of Sarah.
Sarah,
like a name.
the name Sarah, the book of
The
Sarah.
Book of Sarah, yes.
El cuento de Sara.
El cuento, the tale of Sarah.
The tale of Sarah.
Or, yeah, something
Sarah.
like that.
I'll have a look, because I haven't heard of that one.
And I think in Spanish it's pretty expensive. It's like $100 or 200.
Wow.
Well, put it this way, Oscar's teachable.
Wow, that's a lot.
I will check for it.
Yeah.
I will write it down.
Thank
Do you know what's amazing from my point of view with my whole life being snooker is that what people don't understand is when you're sat there and you're playing, all you do is think. All you do, if somebody chucked you in a room for 2 hours, 3 hours, that's all you do is think. There's no can't do any commentators. You can't have a chat with your mate. You can't have a chat with your coach. You're just on your own. So when I was studying this and seeing all the different players and the way they were speaking, you know, you'd have one guy that turns pro and he'll call himself a donator to World Snooker. I'm a donator. So you are donating then. You pay your entry fee, you pay your hotel, and then you go home. But then the other person then who was doing really well will say something completely different and think something completely different. So I'm seeing this like every single tournament of the people who aren't doing so good, and the people, if they're not good enough, they're just saying, oh, you know, hands in the air, I'm not good enough. And I can just, you know, Kevin said about reading energy, you could read your energy once. I'm seeing people now and I have a chat with them, and half an hour in, whatever their life has been, I could have told them before they opened their mouth. It was amazing. It's amazing. And I can see like that, not always, obviously, but just how you talk to yourself is so. I used to have this, I call a boogie player, and he beat me 5 times, and he's a better player than me. And I used to go, wow, you're just brilliant. The way you conduct yourself, the way you hit the ball, the way you walk around the table, you don't look nervous. And then I used that little, what does he use in the live training with that? You'll never make it. You'll never make it. That little voice.
The ant, the
Yeah.
cockroach.
And I started going at the ant. And I used to go, he's brilliant. He's good. He's brilliant. And I was like, he's not. And I was like, and I beat him. And I was like, I got it. It was Mark Selby. Have you heard of Mark Selby?
Mark Selby,
and
yes.
He was world number 1 of the fine at the time. I was like, he's brilliant. And I started going, he's brilliant. And I started going, well, no, he's a bit too skinny. He's a bit insecure. And I started looking at him a little. And when I won the match, and I was like, oh, that was interesting. You know, half putting this stuff into life, not really sitting down. COVID is what made me sit down and absolutely hammer it and love it. And I don't know if I made any difference. Just wanted to share that, because you see it all the time with snooker players, because it's all constantly there.
It's all in there.
No exercising. You can't run around the pitch. You can't smash a ref. You can't do nothing. You just got to sit there like this and think properly.
I think it's all in there, isn't it? It's all in the mind.
All in the mind. And they say that there's a famous phrase where it's 95% of the mind, because there's players on the tour. There's people better than me, as a snooker player, but not that sort of thing. So not to sound, you know, arrogant or whatever that sounds like, but just because if they change their mind, you know, it's nigh on all in the mind. Yeah. So this is what's so fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Really studying and stuff, and then obviously in life as well.
Yes.
This is the book, by the way. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yes. Okay.
Wow.
The Sarah book.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Wow, I have never seen that book
the law of
before.
attraction.
Yeah.
I think in English it's cheaper.
In English. Thank you. No, thank you so much, Aman, for sharing that. I'm definitely going to look into that. So what do you think about putting a time frame on things when you want something? Is it good to put time frame on things? Like, I want this by this date? No. Why?
He says it's higher level stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, because the universe, you know, the universe works at the perfect speed, and we're not that smart. We can't figure out what the universe is going to do, and all the things and all the combinations and situations, everything that the universe is going to put together to get us where we want to be.
It's divinely orchestrated.
It's divinely orchestrated. Like, if you've heard of the chaos theory, it looks as if the universe, everything's chaotic, but actually there's perfect order within the chaos. And harmony. So nothing really is chaos, even though it looks like it. There's actually perfect order within that chaos. And so it's just we cannot perceive it with our five senses. You know, we've got very limited perception of things when we're just using our five senses. So we can't figure out all the 99.99999% that's off our radar screen. We can't figure all of that out because we can't see it. So
you can begin to feel what's there.
You can begin to feel what's there.
You have to learn how to feel, use your feelings, your intuition. So what does the quote from Katie's friend Herb Cohen mean? When
you can negotiate anything.
Yeah, in life and negotiation, you have to care, but not that much.
So what does he mean? I think I know what he means by that, but can you elaborate on it? Really want it, but not really care if it comes in or not. Because you don't need it. You've already got it in your mind. You don't need to experience it.
So it's not there physically because you're experiencing it in your mind. And when you're experiencing it in your mind, I don't know if you've any of you have experienced this, but when you're experiencing something in your mind that you want, a smile will come onto your face. You will feel good. You'll feel so happy. And it hasn't even physically manifested, but you're feeling the feelings of it. And so that's caring, but not that much. Like you're having a good time internally, and it doesn't matter that it hasn't come yet because you just so know it will. So you let it go, that care, but not that much. You're kind of letting it go. You're just like, I know it's there. I don't need to worry about it. It's like the check that's on its way on FedExpress, and it hasn't arrived in your hands physically, the money, but you know it's guaranteed 100%. It's on its way. And even if you know it's not here, it's not going to be here now, it might be here in a year's time.
18 months.
You're going to get 10 million in a year's time or 18 months.
So you'd be happy.
You'll be happy right now because you know it's guaranteed you're going to get that. So it's caring, but not that much. You've got that level of detachment from the outcome. You've got the outcome in mind, but you're also detached from it. And so that's the care, not care, but not that much. But also time as well. You know, you're not too worried about the time because you trust the universe that it will give it to you at the right time, perfect time for you. Because when you start thinking, when is it going to happen to me?
Okay, so
where is it? Where is it? It's still not here. That's doubt. It stops it from coming in. And I have noticed myself that I say that sometimes. You know, I catch myself. I'm like, I get frustrated, like, oh, it's still not here yet. You know, when is this ever going to happen? Or something happens that you feel like you're opposite of what you're asking for, and you feel like you've taken 3 steps or 10 steps backwards. And that's when the frustration can kick in, and that's when you've got to remember this is why the CD9 is so important. It's remembering that when these things happen to you in life, where do you want to focus your attention again? And he's going to go through this again and again, and we're going to talk through this as we're going through the CD9. So your mind, you know, your mind is so powerful, and Neville Goddard speaks about this, having the end in mind, that your mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined.
So there's this guy called Justin Perry on YouTube. He came up with the You Are Creators YouTube channel. He's got almost 2 million YouTube subscribers, but he basically used the power of affirmations. He's obsessed with Neville Goddard's teachings, and he manifested his dream house this way. He said, I experienced it in my mind so vividly, so much clarity, so many
millions
times,
of times,
you know, with repetition. So he said, I already lived in that house in my mind. So when it physically manifested,
so many times,
familiar to him, you know, because he's already lived in that house. And then
he goes there. If you go there on a secret, and if you go there in the mind, you go there in the body.
That's it.
Yeah,
remember in the
you've got
secret.
it. That's exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
your mind,
I've done it so many times. I going to bed at night or waking up, and I'm there. I don't need to go there because I'm already there. And then the following day, something happens. I'm like, oh, okay.
And your mind, what happens is because you're imagining it in your mind, it is creating some neurological changes in your brain. And so your brain is reflecting the thing that's going to happen already. So biologically and physically, your brain's already reflected the event. It's actually produced those neural pathways. And so automatically it has to happen. There's no way it can't happen. It will happen.
Do you want to share the dog story?
Which dog story?
Because that was the clear-cut example.
Oh, you
of
go on,
that.
you share that one.
So like Minal and me, like Minal came up
Oh,
with the
sorry.
idea. And Minal came up with the idea that, oh, Kashi, it would be amazing if you could stroke a dog, and she helped me with the visualization process. I got excited and bought into the idea, and then the next morning I just wanted to just what do we call it, amplify that manifestation stronger. So I just kind of imagined myself stroking the dog, and I've never stroked a dog my whole life before, to be honest. So this is
Wow.
like a big deal for me, and I'm just craving it for so long, and I thought I'm just gonna bloody.
What did you say? Sorry, Kashmir. Stroke a dog? Like
Yeah,
She wanted to hold a dog.
hold a dog.
She wanted to stroke it.
you never did that?
No, I've never done that before. I've never, and I wanted
Wow.
to experience so badly. So Minal, the night before, you know, tells me about this. The next day, I imagine myself feeling it, and I'm smiling as I'm imagining it. That same day, my dad comes and says, you know, your cousin's just bought 2 dogs, and we're going to her house. So do you want to play with them? I was like, what? So my inspired action was to say, yes, okay, duh. And then I just get in the car, and I'm there, and I get photos taken of me stroking the dog, just like
That's mad, because that's such a huge thing for you. To me, I've always loved dogs, but I never had that. He mentions it in the live training. They hate if you hate poodles, and for whatever reason, it's a strong neural pathway, I think, and that's amazing. It's a big deal.
It was, and then I got pictures taken, and it was I experienced it in the mind first, but it felt so good in the mind because I already had the pleasure of stroking the dog and finding it adorable and cute, and then I got to do it in real life that same day.
I can't wait to do this again. Then I can't wait to go through it in the mind again.
Yeah. And then he was saying that if you don't think about the time, and if you care but not that much, and you're imagining it in your mind, it happens so fast in your life. It will be ridiculous. You know,
It'll come faster. And he says if you put a time limit on things as well, it increases doubt as well.
That's right. Yeah, because
which is important to know.
Yeah, because if you've got a deadline and you're approaching that deadline, and
still not here.
Yeah, you're like, it's still not here.
Then you're operating out of impatience, you're operating out of lack, anger, frustration. That's just going to stop the whole process anyway, because that's not feeling good, isn't it?
And he says as well, sorry, go on, you know.
No, I finished. What were you going to say?
Mina was about to say something. I interrupted.
No, I was just going to say that the motion that you're transmitting is also very important. And also he does say about having any negative emotions towards a person, you know, or to an event or circumstance or situation, you'll just attract more events and situations, circumstances to give you that same emotion. And the same thing with happiness and love and joy and gratitude, that the more you transmit that towards people, circumstances, events and situations, you'll get those similar experiences to give you that emotion.
So you want to be conscious of that, be mindful of it, because
they have time limits, don't they? Some people, they have time limits on getting a certain thing, and he's saying, well, maybe that's not what you actually want back up. You know, maybe you want to sell the house, but it's got to be done with this time and that. Well, maybe it's not. They're confused. They think that's the method, and they're putting a time limit on something they don't really want.
Yes, that's it. And then, you know, this goes back to, we kind of asked this question before, but, you know, what if you're feeling super great, happy, singing, smiling, and you're really vibing high, right, for a long period of time, and then something bad happens, like you lose your job. What's going on there?
Well, we kind of discussed this, but
I'm excited for you, Mina. We'll see what comes up.
Yes, that's
I want to see what boat. I want to see what boat and helicopters come by.
yeah. It's the story of, you know, when he's saying save me, and then the helicopter's being sent, the boat, but then he ignores it because he.
What ones are going to come by?
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Stepping into the
Something incredible's going to happen.
So just know it will work out for you. You know, you don't need to know the how it will work out, but you just know. So when something, remember this, it's so important. When something bad happens to you, any of you, including us, we're reminding ourselves this as well. Just know, just say, gosh, you know, because I feel so good, I know this event can't be bad. It's so important. Just see this as a blessing in disguise. So you're losing your job helps you focus on what you do want clearly, and it creates more of what you want. It frees up the energy tied to the old job. So sometimes you need to let go of something in order to allow something new into your life. And so sometimes, you know, the examples of a house burning down, or you losing a job, or even in a relationship, you lose a partner or loved one in a relationship, it breaks up. It's because you might not be an energetic match for them. You're therefore bigger, better, greater.
Really focus on what you want.
And really focus, really, and even if you need to clarify even more what you want, that's a good way of doing that as well, using that opportunity. Okay, I don't want this, so what do I want? How do I get even clearer on that?
Contrast
every single day. I personally have to monitor that, but be at the guard, I think he says, but make sure, because it's so easy to flip into the masses when you're talking to people, to be polite or just get on with your day. And you start thinking, and you can literally see people, it's like they've been hypnotized into feeling bad. And I'm like, oh, whoa, back up. What do I actually want? What do I actually want? What do I actually want? What do I actually want?
Yeah, what do I want?
That's the magical question to ask yourself. Yeah, what do I want?
And that's what you want to do. And we all know that life gives you all sorts of experiences, and so use them to determine your preference, to clearly determine what you want, and dial in that frequency and transmit it. Even if you see something in someone else's life that you think, oh, I don't want that, it helps you again clarify what you do want much more clearly. So when something bad happens, what should you do?
Pop the champagne.
Yes, we actually bought party poopers for this stuff.
So take advantage of bad events.
How long have you planned that? 2 weeks?
Yeah, we did.
Is that why you want to do the Cabin to Go training, just for that moment?
So the worse it is, think about this, the worse it is, the greater the focus on what you want, and the transmission is going to have massive power and intensity of what you want. Now, I'll give you an example of this. The worst, you know, you hear of all these stories of people hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then snap.
There's only one way to go, guys. When you hit rock bottom, up.
Yeah, you either die, or you either completely give up on life, right? Or or you move up. And so when you move up, when you've hit rock bottom and things have been so bad, your transmission
becomes stronger.
Is way
very
more
intense.
powerful. And think about it in your life. When your life's just ticking away, okay, everything's
You're not emotionally intense.
It's not going to be as intense. But when something really bad happens, it's going to be way more intense. You know, like enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
It happens every day. If I speak to somebody who's been successful or had nothing and then had something or whatever, the first question I say is, so what was the moment? And they go, excuse me? I go, like, what was the moment that changed everything? They look at me as if I'm a clairvoyant. How do you know that? Well, you know, what you do is you blast a frequency that's really intense with power and vibration. I don't say that, I'm joking. But I'm like, God, that's amazing. You know, they hit the floor and they go, right, tunnel vision, what do I want? And then 2 years later, they got a couple of million in the bank, or they've got whatever they've got. And the other people just accept it, and they just spiral. And then they're just not nothing, but they don't realize they can change it within a moment.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I'm driving somewhere and I'm feeling bad, I put on a blast my favorite song, and I sing really, really badly. But it just puts me in such a, like with that the one I put in the I put in the group tonight with Michael Bublé.
Oh,
and I start and then I sung
yeah.
to my I phoned two of my friends blasting this song out. They just text me saying you're mental. I go, no, I'm just happy.
That's such a good way of feeling. Great way of feeling good.
But then they put it on loudspeaker to their work colleagues, and everyone just started smiling, and I was like, oh, my job's done then.
That's it. And then everyone else is smiling.
I made everyone happy in the office. They said, oh, you weren't like ashamed, you weren't embarrassed. I said, no, just not I didn't do it for that reason. I just done it just to share.
You're just to share, yes, yeah.
I didn't want to put it on the group though, just in case you all thought I was mental.
No, we got what you meant.
Yeah.
So the other thing that, so we get fear, we get doubt, we get worry. So what is worry? What's Kevin's definition?
Negative goal setting.
Negative goal setting. And
so to go from depressed to bliss is impossible, obviously. So you want to aim to feel a little bit better. So so like, what emotion is actually better than feeling depressed?
Anger,
that's it. And
feel depressed.
Yeah, feel depressed. Yeah. And why is that? Because depressed people don't have any energy to do anything. Often a sign of depression is that you sleep all day. It's very hard to get out of bed, to drag yourself to do anything. And so there's very little physical movement, or it takes a lot of energy just to move physically. And you don't even want to talk. You just don't want to do anything. But with anger, you're blasting out some words, or
there's
you're
some
angry.
particle flow there.
There's some particle flow, and your body's a bit more tense, and it's like up there, So anger is actually, but even though you don't want to stay in anger, but it's still better than depressed, because at least you're moving. You're moving up the emotional.
Just want to feel a little bit of a relief.
Yeah, a little bit of relief. That's it.
And you see it all the time. Even if you see it with these people who aren't very nice people who have made a lot of money, but they're really angry all the time, but they've got intense emotion. They're not happy, but they've got intense anger and jealousy now. But if you're depressed, I've had it a couple of times in my life where I can't get out of bed. Not, before probably the last year, not knowing that if it happens now, I'll go, right, well, I'll just go and run, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll go for a swim, or I know what to do now to then move out of. It doesn't happen at all. Well, it hasn't happened at all now. But if it did happen, I'd know to get really angry or really irritated, or I wouldn't be able to get to contentment, but I could get to anger and whatever, and just move up and up.
That's it. And Mario, were you going to say something?
Yeah, about the anger. It's energizing. It gives you energy.
Yeah, it does.
While being depressed is your low energy. You can't do anything. It's like you're lacking esteem.
Yeah.
There's also, like, I watched on YouTube a video with Jim Carrey. He's woke now, and he's talking about where he, from early on, he developed a character, which his name is Jim Carrey. And as being an actor, he had to take on a lot of roles, and he realized that also his original role, Jim Carrey, is also a character he's playing. And he states that depression is like depression is like having the need for deep rest from the character you are playing. Because you're always playing somebody, personality.
So can you repeat that, Mario? What does he mean by that? So he's saying it's a deep rest, depression.
Yeah, I mean,
he's saying you need to have. Is he saying you need to have it? Is he?
No, it's that when you're depressed, you're playing a character which you're needing deep rest from. You're not playing a good role. You have a lot of like, personality comes from the Greek word persona, which means mask. Was a time in Greek when women were not allowed on stage, so men wear masks, which was called a persona, and which this is. We all have personalities, but this is not the true essence of self we are. We're always playing a role, like a character. And when you're depressed, he says that he had to let go of that character because his body was saying, hey, you can't do this anymore. You know, this is change the character, change your personality, and you also change how you feel. You know, there's
all relevant to what we're saying as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and Jim Carrey is a very wise person. He has gone through a lot of transformation during his whole life, and
thinking that fame and fortune makes you happy. Then he brought out a statement saying, "I wish everybody can get famous and wealthy to realize it's not everything." Then he probably reverted because he had everything. And then Tyson Fury, have you heard of him, guys? With the boxer. Have you heard of him? He's got a video on YouTube, 15 minutes, about talking about his depression, and so it's not everything. And then they go back then, don't they? I think they try and find the meaning of life, and it's basically what we're studying. They're trying to find something. They were trying to find something that wasn't there, and now they're going back to finding happiness.
They're trying to find out closer. They're getting closer to who they really are. And, you know, when you're playing this facade, this personality, or what you feel other people want to see, and also you're not addressing the real stuff that's going on deep down inside, then that can lead to depression. And so once you find who you really are and become whole and complete and more authentic, then that's when you know your true self. And everyone
that's the miracle. It's the five. It's not the 5-second miracle, but it's knowing. Trying to find out who you are.
It's also the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one.
There's a great book by that, actually. It's about what to say when you talk about yourself, when you talk to yourself.
That's
See, trying to be funny again.
Get a soul mate, as in mate with your soul.
As in soul mate.
Get the relationship with you is the most important thing.
Most important.
Be happy alone.
Yeah, I mean, and also from the training, there's also this quote: if you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. And that's so deep and true. And so start by loving yourself, and everything else will unfold, but you start with yourself first.
You have to start with yourself.
You can't expect anybody else to love you first if you don't love yourself.
They mention it in The Secret as well, don't they?
Excuse me?
They mention it in The Secret as well.
Yeah.
How can you enjoy your own company if nobody else enjoys your company? So I think that's everything. I think that's so important to listen to remember, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Almost like the foundation of everything. So the dating example.
So I don't have. So example of the debt. You know, I don't have any idea of how I'm going to get out of debt, but I know something will present itself. I'm sure everything will work out for me. So you're looking at some thought or feeling that's going to make you feel a little bit better. You know, so even if you're like in a dire situation like that. So, and then also look at what you already have. So give gratitude for the things that you already have in your life. That makes you feel better.
And remember, you're not kidding yourself. So let's say you're in debt. You're not going to just say, oh, but I'm going to have millions tomorrow or something. Or abundant, because you might not be really feeling it. So you're just reaching out for that better feeling thought. You know, something that's going to make you feel that little bit better. So which is what Abraham Hicks teaches.
Some relief.
Better feeling thought.
Maybe I'll never get out of that. Maybe I'll go through the rest of my life. You know, that's okay. At least I'm not ill. I think he says ill, doesn't he? He said, at least I'm not in a country living on dirt. And if you are living in a country living on dirt, at least you're not living on wet dirt. He says it on something else.
That's it. So Katie mentions the power of words again. He said you can use your words to make you feel good, but don't lie to yourself. So just like what we're saying, you know, if you say how are you, and you had a really rough night, you're not going to say, oh, I feel terrific, I feel fantastic.
I've done that loads of times before knowing this.
And you can say something like, you know,
I feel like I've been hit in the stomach, but I'm working on it. Better every day. And
I'll feel better by the end of the day, or something like that.
My friend has built a business. It's worth about £2 million now. He's working in a call center for 10 years, and he's just finished in his relationship with his fiance after 11 years. I said, hi, Andrew, right? No, I'm absolutely terrible, but thanks for asking, he said. But he didn't put a mask on. He just straight away said, I'm not feeling good. No, I'll get better. I'm getting there. I'm going for a walk tomorrow. And he's doing it. He's not studying any of this stuff, but doing it unconsciously.
Unconsciously.
I can feel like he's feeling just a little bit better. He's not going to bliss. It's impossible.
Yes, yeah, but he's
Yeah,
feeling that
that's
bit
an
better.
accurate statement then of how
Yeah.
you answer the question. Yeah.
Was.
So
And then also being general in your vibration.
yeah, it's better because you don't know what's off your radar screen, you know, rather than being specific, but only be specific if it feels good to you, because sometimes you may have an idea of a specific watch you want or a specific decorative item you want for your home, and then that's fine as long as it feels good to you. That's the key. So yeah, so example Kevin Trudeau gives about someone wanting to invest in your business, invest in your company. He says he may have a counter intention. Do you want your company to grow and prosper? It may not be that either, right? It could, but it could be because you want to actually feel powerful and successful and have a sense of achievement, and the method may not be anything to do with your company, and it will show up in other ways that you're not aware of.
You don't want this guy to give you an investment.
Really want, yeah.
You think the method. I want to sell my house. Oh. So why are you selling this house? Because I have more money to buy a new house. Huh. So what you want is a new house.
That's why it's also very important to ask yourself why you want what you want.
Why do you want
Always
it?
dig deeper, and you will realize that oftentimes it's not what you really want. There's something behind it.
My mum was saying to me when I was on the my mum was saying to me when I was on the mortgage ladder. Oh, when you have this house now, then you can have a bigger house and this and a bigger house. I'm like, yeah, but I'm happy here. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, she said, you can have a bigger house after this. I'm like, yeah, but I'm happy here. I don't want. Maybe you want that to her, that you want to show off and whatever. But I'm happy in a small little bungalow with I'm happy. So it's like people think they'll be happy in a bigger house and whatever. So just to add on to that.
Yeah. And like also Maria said about, you know, finding out your why, you know, why do you want, and keep asking why, because you'll get to the bottom of it, and it
always comes down to a feeling,
you know, and
weird, isn't it?
And if you keep it general, the universe will give you better stuff, because what you think is best for you may not be. You know, you may not know that. Yeah, so you're limiting yourself to just that one thing. Whereas if you keep it more open, then the universe will give you all sorts of stuff. You know, the quantum surprises, I call them. And the one thing also is important to do is surrender, let go. You know, it's that care but not that much. So you want something, but you also let it go. And you know, I can't stress this enough, to read the book Michael Singer's The Surrender Experiment. It totally blows away any kind of all these rules on goal setting, chief aims, all of this, because desires. He just let go every time the universe presented something to him. He ended up being a CEO of $1 billion company. He still lives in the same little house. He wears the same clothes, whether he's interviewed by Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey. He's up on stage. 6 years ago, right now, you see him on YouTube. He's not that on social media that much at all. But when you do see him, he's wearing the same clothes. He's a billionaire, and humble, he's very humble and very simple.
Thing is, he was a meditating hippie in the woods in the 1970s. That's all he wanted to do, was to be in solitude and meditate all day long.
Yeah, he didn't have a desire to make loads of money.
Yeah, he has no financial education.
He just needed enough. He was sleeping in his van some of the time. You know, he was completely detached from sort of worldly stuff. Yeah. But he then realized he needs to surrender every time the universe presents something to him. So people kept attracting, you know, coming towards him and wanting him to do things. And then he just surrendered every time. Let go, let go, let go. And one thing led to another. And you'll see through the book that he ended up being a billionaire.
Well, maybe
he never asked for that. He never wanted. He never even asked for it. But he just ended up just by surrendering and letting go. And the end of the book is a bit of a climax, that something really bad happens. But again, he surrenders through the whole process. You know, seemingly bad. You know, we say bad, but you know, it's how you label the event. And he just surrendered, let go, and then everything worked out in his favor.
So he was probably happier in the woods, though, in like a hippie.
Yeah.
People. I think this is one of the biggest things. Most people think you need, obviously to us guys, we sort of know, but a lot of people, they think you need all the time. Like I don't buy many clothes. I bought one t-shirt, this one, a couple of days ago, and I was like, that's lovely, because I really wanted it. But I don't need to go out and buy, you know, expensive clothes and this and that, because you just personally, if people are happy doing that, they are. But some people in snooker, they win a bit of money or they do this and they go out and buy like stupid expensive, which is fine if you're happy, but not for me. Just do what makes you happy, like within this stuff. So he was probably happier in the woods.
He was happy whatever he did. So because he learned to just surrender, he was never emotionally attached to the event that was happening outside of him. So he was what Kevin Trudeau talks about is liberation. You feel so free. True freedom is when you're not reactive to the outside, whatever's happening. You know, everything,
nothing else to lose,
good or bad or whatever. It's all just an event. And any emotions that come up, he's able to let go of them, let go, continuously surrendering. And then what happens is just life unfolds, you know, most magically.
Carries you.
Life just carries you. You know, so you're no longer trying or efforting because you're constantly letting go.
You don't even have to think about what you want.
You don't have to think about the next step because it just kind of, the universe presents itself the next step to you. So you're in flow. He's in flow all the time. So
this is where Oscar's been amazing, because he's just concentrating on the appreciation, the love, the gratitude, and not caring about the stuff. I you know, from what I know Oscar, and like as far as I know, it's the third method. I think you can kind of want something, you can absolutely want this certain thing because you want the feeling for it, or just feel because you get good, which is better because you feel better and get better stuff anyway.
Yeah, and gratitude and appreciation is the greatest state of receivership. So you're already saying to the universe, thank you so much, I've got all of this.
That's an excellent vibration to be at, because you're always going to get more things to be thankful for, and you never know what you're going to expect either, because it's not specific. So the next question is, what's important about writing down your goals and your dreams with white paper and blue ink? What's the importance of it? Writing down your goals.
What's the question? Sorry.
So what's important about writing down your goals and dreams on white paper and blue ink? The act of writing, what does he say about that?
I'm gonna keep going.
Does create more neural pathways or stronger ones. It's through your movement with your hands, there's more engagement in the brain, and therefore you vibrate higher. That's right.
Yeah, you're literally blasting out an intense. You can't go into all the scientific stuff. He says when you are writing on a phone like this, you only put on you only blast out was it 4? Say I'll call it, this isn't it, but I'll call it 4 frequencies. When you're writing down, you're blasting out tens and tens of thousands of because it's the movement. And it doesn't matter what language, because it's the same. You're putting yourself in. It's like you're putting yourself in the mode of having it. Yeah.
It creates so many movements when you write down. Over 10,000 movements when you're actually writing.
So you're creating neural pathways in your brain. Whereas when you're typing things into the computer, it's actually only 8 movements, because you have 4 fingers here. So you've got 4 on the keyboard. That's where you got the 8 from. I realized.
So your neural
pathways only have 2.
Pro.
Or even
or 2, or even 1.
If they're really slow and they type like that, they type like this.
So your neural pathways grow and feel better, and you remember and focus more when you actually write things down. And I'm telling you, this happens to me when I'm holding my book club sessions. Even though I read the book, and I read a book, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, when I'm writing it down and I'm writing the notes down, it really sinks in much more. And I'll remember it like so much more when I'm writing it down. So
or when you're scripting about your dreams, your ideal life, like when you are scripting as well, it's energizing. It feels really good. You're actually happy while you're writing down, oh, I'm going here, I'm doing this.
To me personally, that's like a given now. I think whenever I want something, or I want to have the feeling of it, I go straight to my pad, even if it's at night watching a film, or if it's watching something, or reading. If I'm reading a book, I just instantly, if I'm having a coffee in the morning, I just instantly, I don't even look at the phone or computer. I just instantly write now. I think we all do, don't we?
Yeah.
And the pen and the paper have vibration as well, don't they? He says.
Yes.
The color has vibration.
So the blue ink. You know what he told me? I asked him.
He actually personally told Minna on the phone when he called us.
Really, about the blue color?
About the blue color.
He said, I know I didn't expand on that in the audio. Because the significance of the blue pen is, he said, all colors have a vibration. I was like, oh yes. And then so I think your brain
receives
the color of blue.
something about the color of
carries a
blue. It
vibration
carries a
of,
vibration, and it helps
creativity, I think.
your brain can receive it better or something. Or
Yeah.
I can't
It's
actually
to do with
remember
the
the
fact
full
that
answer.
colors, hold a vibration as well. Even when you wear different colored shirts, if you wear blue, it's symbolic of maybe a happier color. If you wear red, it's more daring and more. It's actually stimulating more of the lower chakras if you wear red, and if you wear yellow, it's more like of a daylight color. It's more approachable. People will approach you more because you're wearing yellow. Colors have a psychological effect.
Yeah, because with fast food restaurants, they always use red, don't they? Because red makes you hungry. Yeah, I think I'm not going to preach.
Yes.
I'm not going to preach and say I'm right, but apparently you look at McDonald's, KFC. I know Subway does this.
Actually, I never noticed
Red
that.
and yellow.
Red, I can't remember. I can't remember if I wrote red it somewhere or it was like my.
You read
when I
a
was-
lot.
Red boxes for
it just
McDonald's.
popped in where that's why it's they're red because they want you to, they're trying to draw you in. Pizza Hut, another one. There's loads of them.
Yes, that's a good observation there. Yes.
So
I have another theory. I heard this from a gym member, but I didn't research it. It's blue is because you have the blue bloods, and actually your blood is blue, but when you see it, it's red because the light is shining on it. Yeah.
What?
Blood is actually blue, but when you see it, the light is shining in it, so it turns red.
That sounds theory. We'll have to dig into that. See what's that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I didn't research it. There
must be a reason why they called it blue bloods. There's a meaning to everything. If we just dig deeper and research.
Yeah, there's always a meaning to something.
So
I
wouldn't dismiss what you said. I'll be like, I'd be open to exploring and researching that. Yeah.
Yeah, there could be some truth in that. So I'm going to skip this bit because this is
track 7 and track 8.
Yeah. So track 7 just recaps because we're coming to the end. I don't want to
overrun the session.
Spike past 4. Jeez.
I know. So we're coming up to the end.
Wow.
So track 7 just recaps defining what you want and feeling good about it. And a few key points about this, just to remember: timing and emotions, right? So timing, you're thinking of the lack of, the lack comes in, or the doubt, or the fear. If you put.
Sorry to interfere. Oscar is saying that the blood of all of us is blue, is intense blue.
Oh, intense blue.
I thought you were going to say it's there's love and sex in it.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
And to get to the bottom of what you really want and define it in a way with as much freedom and flexibility and openness to the options so that the universe may present itself to you. So it's all about the feeling. So be a bit open and flexible in terms of, he's basically saying try and go general more and less specific. And when you think about what you want, you have to feel good. Otherwise, you're thinking about the lack of it. So your emotional guidance system, it's like the anticipation in Christmas time, presents are under the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You're getting it, and
sitting in a seat
and
of expectation.
And what you want wants you. So feel good, get what you want. Feel bad, stops you from getting what you want.
Very simple.
And remember, you created everything in your life with your thinking, right? And you can predict the future. Why can you predict the future? Because you're creating it. You are the creator of it. So what all this work in be, do, and have, it all boils down to how do you feel? Do you wake up every morning thinking, yes, I can't wait to start the day on a Monday morning, and it's raining down, and it's like you've got like back-to-back meetings all day, and it's going to be a tough day, but you wake up feeling good. Don't you all want to feel that every morning? You're going to jump out of bed and feel really, really good. So this is what he's saying.
Singing in the shower.
Singing in the shower, having fun, the roller coaster of life, because life gives you all sorts of things, all sorts of challenges and experiences, challenges, bad, good events, everything. And so are we going to enjoy the roller coaster of life? And the way the more you practice this, the more you practice popping the champagne when something bad happens, you build those neural pathways in your brain. So then next time something bad happens, it's so easy to celebrate and pop the champagne and not feel so bad. And I think Katie's like that. I think he's mastered that. Because because he knows that when something bad happens,
he said he used to feel bad back in the day before he trained himself. Now he's like unconsciously confident in popping the champagne when something bad happens.
He says as well, doesn't he, when somebody says, we got a big problem. No, Suzanne, we don't have problems, we have challenges, we have this, we have that. And then he goes on and he goes, no, we've got a problem. We're £100,000 overdrawn. They're gonna have 20 checks gonna bounce. And, I'm over there popping the champagne going, come on, he's going, you're nuts.
Yes, that's it. That's it. So practicing it is so important in your daily life, on day-to-day things when things happen to you. So just feel good all day long. Laugh, sing, smile. Think about your desires and what you want. And Rhonda Burns, in one of her interviews, she's on YouTube quite a bit now, and she said all you've got to do is think about what you want all day long. That's it.
Yeah, and feel good.
Jamie's got the knack of that now.
He says, sorry to interrupt you. He says in Travel Through, he goes, basically, you feel good now. Think about what you want to feel good when you think about it. Yeah, thanks for coming. Now I'm just going to try and get you to believe it. That's it.
End the lecture right there.
Exactly. So that's basically the CD9. It's feeling good. Ultimate goal is that's what you want to do. And what do you mean? What do you do when you feel bad? How can you take that? And what you can do to turn it around as quick as possible? And then CD10, which we're going to talk about next session, is all about making money and how you use these techniques to make money. Now, you can use these techniques to be, do, and have anything and everything you want, but this particular Wishes Your Command series focuses on money. And
talk about money now. Focus in on money.
Yes. You know it word for word. So, guys, may you never be the same again, and we shall.
Not enough enthusiasm. Come on.
Remember, always feel bad.
Yes. We shall see you on the next session, guys. Thank you very much, and bye for now.